Hi, my name is Ben Videtich. I serve here at Church of the Servant in congregational life, and I wanted to share just a couple quick things with you. You probably already know, but we are going to be gathered in this space for worship this Sunday. So I want to share a couple things with you. On the one hand, I want to talk a little bit about the logistics of being back. On the other hand, I want to talk about the mentality of being back, gathered for indoor worship. It's been a long time coming. So I'm going to draw on the wisdom of someone who precedes me by a couple millennia to frame the mentality of being inside once again for worship. So here are the words of St. Paul in his letter to the Ephesian church. It's short, but it communicates a whole lot. The nice thing about being part of the Christian tradition is you're not speaking alone. So, from Paul, speaking the truth in love, we must grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and knit together by every ligament with which it's equipped, as each part is working properly, to promote the body's growth in building itself up in love. So siblings in Christ, we're part of that body, and to sort of communicate that truth in love as best I can, we have had such different experiences during the past 16 months. Some of us, I think it's a little bit like driving. Some of us, we see someone being maybe a little bit less cautious than us, and we think, you are being just reckless. You need to slow yourself down. This is a pandemic. And then on the other hand, if we see people moving slower than us, being a little bit more cautious than us, we say, come on, what are you worried about over there? Right? That's kind of been the experience. It's been a lot of different experiences. So that said, as we grow into Christ-likeness, we're coming back to church, and we're going to need to exercise our gifts of patience, of grace, of hospitality. And we need your patience and your grace and your hospitality as we come back together. So, having discussed a little bit about the sort of the mental shift of being back indoors, I wanted to just communicate. I don't want, and none of us want to come back to church feeling like we're walking on eggshells. That's not what we want. We don't want a big list of do's and don'ts. But we do want to, as a staff and as leaders, we do want to offer a bit of a sort of a framework for coming back to church. So here are just a few logistics for being in the worshiping space and being gathered together. First thing, we're going to continue maintaining some physical distance from one another for the time being. So please exercise some grace if you maybe need to ask someone to move or negotiate sort of your spacing. Just be patient, be grace-filled, and filled with self-control. All the fruits of the Spirit apply here. So we've been doing it for a while. Let's keep doing that for the time being. Another detail is this. For now, there will be less congregational singing. And of course, that will certainly change in time, but per recommendations, that's how we're doing it for now, at least a few Sundays. Another detail is communion. It will continue as we've done outside with the individual cups. So they will be passed instead of directly to you. They'll come down from the row. So expect that. And then finally, I just want to say from me to you, from the staff to you, from the elders and deacons and council to you, I'm so excited to be gathered again for worship in this space. I think many of us have missed it. It will be good to be here. So let's continue growing into Christ-likeness and know that every small act of grace, every small act of kindness, or even forgiveness, that's going to assist in that process of being joined together as the body of Christ.
As we maintain physical distancing in the worship space, we still want to foster a community and fellowship with each other. So we encourage you and invite you to join us for a cup of coffee or a glass of juice on the patio.
Now we look forward to seeing your faces again.
Hello, welcome to the Children's Welcome Station. You'll see this right when you walk inside the door. I'm Jolanda Howe, the Children's Ministry Coordinator, and I just want to tell you a little bit about how the Children's Ministry portion of your Sunday morning worship will happen when you come here on July 4th. So you'll see this this station, which includes name tags for all the kids that we already know are in our program. So your child will be able to pick up a name tag. And the important thing about the name tags is that on the back is included a parent pickup ticket. So you will keep that ticket and you'll put this name tag on your child. The tag also includes a scanner that we will scan your child in when they get into the programming. They'll exit in the middle of the service, so that's why we want to make sure they get a name tag and check in once they get there. If you have a child that's in the nursery, ages 0 to age 2, they will receive one of these name tags that pins on. So our programming for children worship in the summer goes for ages 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And those are the name tags that you'll find here. Your child may also want to pick up a doodle board that includes a craft to do and a children's bulletin. We have those for ages 3 and up or ages 7 and up. And if you're brand new to the church and you're just visiting for the first time, then I'll have you fill out one of these little forms to tell us a little bit about who you are and your child, if you have any allergies, or and a phone number so that we can connect with you if we need to during the service time. So I will meet you up front to talk a little bit about dismissal next. Your children will join you in worship for the beginning portion of the service. So we encourage you to invite them into worship, to sit near them, help them to sing and participate in all the ways the congregation is. Then I'll call the children to stand and receive a blessing before we're dismissed to our children's worship programs. Some of you might recall that previous to COVID, we would stand and have the children come forward. To save a little bit of time for the time being, we're going to have the kids stand in their places, and then as I proceed out the side aisle, I'll meet the children at the side door to go to our programs. And I'll show you what check-in is like when we get to that hallway. Here we are, right at the entrance of the children's wing where children worship happens. And actually not much is going to be changing because we've already been using the children's wing for the last several weeks. The big difference is that all our kids are going to be together again now from the basic English service and the standard English service. And so that will be a great thing to all be together again. What happens when the children come from the worship service is that we will line them up right here, and they will get scanned for fevers. They will receive a squirt of hand sanitizer. If they don't already have a mask, we'll need to provide them with a mask. And that applies to leaders too. Here in the children's wing, the leaders and the children will be masked. And that is just out of an abundance of safety for our kids because they are not vaccinated. And so we will have those supplies available, but we hope you'll bring your own. After the kids are scanned and hand sanitized, we go out this door and sing on the patio outside. We do that because we aren't going to be singing inside in the children's rooms. So we spend that time outside singing, and then we proceed to the children's rooms where if you've ever served or witnessed the children's programming in this wing before, you know that we often do sing, and we have a feast. We won't be singing or doing our feast, and we'll be very careful to make sure that kids are socially distancing and that they also have access to hand sanitizer. The windows will be vented in rooms where there's windows. And so we're doing a lot of great safety precautions to make sure our kids are safe. And if you have any questions, please always reach out to me. I'm easy to find at the church or on my cell phone. Thanks. And now we're thinking about the end of the worship service. When the worship service is over, these doors that exit onto the patio will open, and you'll be able to go out and have coffee or whatever beverage is being served that day, and you'll be able to pick up your kids on the grassy area just off the patio near the artery windows. So you'll need to bring this pickup ticket and give it to the leader of your child who will be standing with them. And the leader will just stick it in the name tag so it will be ready for you next week when you come to pick up your child or come to bring your child to programming. And so I hope they have a great time.
So a lot of this video has been focusing on what it's going to be like for us as a church community to be gathering back together in the worship space. But I also want to spend just a moment reaching out to our middle school and high school students to remind them that being a part of church community is is not just about worshiping together. It's also about finding spaces to have fun together, to have fellowship together, to learn what it means to be a disciple of Jesus as a young person. So I want to remind you that there is a space here in our church, and it's been undergoing some construction. I'm not sure that you're going to recognize all the changes, but I suspect that we've all been going through some changes over this pandemic, and it's going to be good to get together and see what changes we experienced, not only in ourselves, but also in the youth room. So on Sundays after worship, I want to invite students that are going into 7th grade through 12th grade to come on into the youth room space, see what changes have been made, and let's spend time together having some fellowship. There might be donuts involved as well if you come and show up after church on Sundays, but throughout the summer, I look forward to meeting with you in the worship, after the worship space here in the youth room. So hope to see most of you in here sometime over the summer.